evening, late night freaks. I'm here to give Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, or loaded third house, a stellium, three or more planets in that third house, or one of those significant placements I already mentioned. A read straight from the hip with lots of lip, and we're going to be looking at what's on deck for you, Gemini, in February, at least the themes that are going to get introduced to you this month. These themes will be playing out. My reads tend to be predictive in nature, so they do pick up on current trends, but we also look at what's ahead. And I don't have an aversion to the term fortune teller. I am a teller of fortunes. And I love some of that old timey fortune telling. And we really had the playing cards want to be brought in for you tonight. So I know there's going to be some interesting energy in play. There always is when my trusty deck comes out here. It's actually two bicycle playing card decks combined. It's the hidden oracle bicycle playing cards, which represents the shadow side. And then I have the archangel playing cards that hold down the light. And so there's this real dualistic energy there, and it helps us understand the energies that are in play. I did get an initial download for you, and that's that there's going to be some unexpected growth in an area where you weren't expecting it. And maybe you'd given up on this. You just sort of resigned yourself to, this is just the way they are, and I don't really see them stepping up to the plate. This could have something to do with a fire sign. I'm picking up masculine, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There's something that needed to be addressed in this situation. I feel like you felt like this person dropped the ball or they didn't follow through. There's something that they promised you. You feel like they didn't keep their word. In some way, you felt like something wasn't lived up to, and it was a real disappointment for you. In a way, you feel it kind of put you in a compromising position that you didn't appreciate. I think there's been some challenges around this. I think that it's kind of stalled some things out too, where you were hoping there was going to be some real forward progress. Things just kind of like leveled off, and you've been waiting to see, is there going to be any change in this situation? Is this person going to like follow through at any point? Are they going to do what they said that they would do? Are they going to, get it together? And I think that you're going to have an opportunity to see something change in this arena. Now, for some of you, this is romantically, okay? This is somebody that you had some kind of romantic interest in, but maybe it was just more kind of for fun, maybe it was more of a sexual connection. Maybe it wasn't going as deep as you wanted it to be, or in some way this person had gone emotionally cold or had shut down. They weren't really letting you in. They weren't really giving you full access to their heart. I feel like that's about to change. This person's going to come forward with a real emotional offer, and there's some kind of emotional communication that ensues. In cases where it doesn't have to do with romance, I feel that it's a really close connection. This is somebody that you feel a very close tie with, somebody who's a dear friend, could even be a family member, okay, that you've had some challenges with, somebody who disappointed you. I feel like there's some disappointment here. There may have even been a little bit of interfering energy from this person, a little third party energy coming from that person, or there could have been some third party in the mix that was making things complicated in this situation. A third party can always be a side piece, a lover, somebody on the side. It could be their girlfriend, their boyfriend, their husband, wife, somebody creating complication. It could be a family member getting into the mix and making things unnecessarily uneasy, kind of interfering, giving their own input where it's not asked for. And this could have caused some problems, could have caused some division. This could even be something like an addiction getting in the way, causing some kind of problem. Maybe you acted as a sponsor to this person, and they said they'd follow through, they'd go to their meetings, they didn't, and that weighs heavily on you. Okay. So there's all kinds of messages coming in here. As with everything that comes in these reads, please do tune into your intuition. I am speaking to a collective, so there's a lot of different stories that come through, but if you lean in with how the messages are coming through for you. Flip-flop roles as you need to, flip-flop genders as you need to, and where you're sitting on that side of the negotiating table too when you receive these reads, and you'll get the most benefit out of them, okay? You'll know how the overarching themes are speaking to you. And sometimes something just comes out of left field, and there's maybe one person out there that's coming through for, but it's coming through for a reason. So we're going to bring it in. We're going to be doing a zodiac wheel spread where we look at the 12 houses. I'm throwing in a 13th house for Ophiuchus, which I've added to this channel. I wanted to really bring that into BroadCoven this year. It was calling to be brought in, and there's sort of like the midway point in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So it's a missing sign, okay, that used to be within that mix back in the Babylonian era. So maybe you're dealing with somebody who falls under the Ophiuchus sign, right? It's like the tail end of November, beginning of December, Sagittarians, okay? So this kind of coming through as an additional message, but Ophiuchus will be holding down. Oh, I think you might be. Some of you might be, because Ted just went, woo, and he shook his head yes. So that's a confirmation. Okay, so I do want you to know that they'll be holding down the overarching theme. All right, the overarching theme. So maybe they are front and center for you in February. All right. I never went into Ophiuchus so much on any other sign thus far that I've done these reads for. So there's something there. Ooh, and I'm just noticing the bottom of the deck energy here. It's coming in the light. We got 8 of clubs. So yeah, I think some communication is coming in. All right. There's some communication coming in. This can also be like I was saying, there was this piece about, I got this like real Knight of Cups energy, like coming forward to make an emotional offer, showing the emotions, expressing the emotions. I do expect messages. Maybe this person will also want to connect with you. You might take some little trip together or drop in on some little jaunts together. I'm picking up like drives by the shore, drives by the coast, drives out in nature. I'm seeing like redwoods, just places where you can go and kind of drop in and let down your guard and have good communication. And I'm also feeling like there's this piece of, stirring the pot, like getting things cooking again. And for those of you that this is speaking on a romantic level, and you'll know, because I feel like this is somebody that maybe you had an argument with. Okay, we got the 5 of clubs here in the shadow. I think this is what caused some problems. That's a little too impassioned, okay? And so maybe there was something that got in the way of those passions that caused a problem. Maybe you weren't on the same page with this person, just on a sexual level. This can also be like a too many cooks in the kitchen kind of energy. Maybe there was flirtations going on. Maybe there were side pieces. Maybe there was outside interference. This was causing problems. I see there was some kind of argument, okay, and this is what led to the disappointment with the 5 of hearts. For a lot of you, this is very much like it's speaking on a heart level, okay? And if you're like, well, I don't know a masculine, I dig chicks, man, okay? It's okay. It's okay, because that could be like an element that's coming up within you, all right? You might have a strong fire sign placement. It could also be that the person you're dealing with, they may be a chick, they may be a broad, but they might present themselves with a little bit more of their like masculine quality. They might be a little bit more forthright. They might be a bit of a go-getter. They might be a bit bold, carry kind of traditionally more of a masculine kind of role, but be every bit feminine. Okay. So it's just like, open up to this. Some people can get stuck on that. Please don't. Just listen to the energy, because you'll always know how the energy is speaking. And so maybe this is something that had come into the mix at some point too. Maybe you'd wondered about this person. Maybe you had questions about their sexuality. Maybe you had questions about their sexuality because you haven't been able to get in sync sexually. Ooh, and tripping up over the words there. So there might be some kind of blockage around this. There might be some communication that needs to come in, but we see that there was some kind of disappointment here, okay? Something that caused heartache. And for me, the Five of Hearts often does have to do with a third party interference, okay? But just like it came up in my mind's eye, I saw that Knight of Cups coming forward with an invitation to open things up. What do we got here? We got the Jack of Hearts, which is associated with that water element. It's associated with that cup kind of energy. So might have a strong Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio placement too. And this is very interesting, where there might be something involving a Cancer. Maybe the Cancer is the third party element. Maybe somebody was sick with cancer. Maybe somebody was struggling with cancer. Maybe a mother was dealing with cancer or something along these lines. And so this was a real stress strain on the relationship. Okay. There's all kinds of themes that are coming in here, but we do know that there was some kind of painful separation here. All right. But I see you all overcoming it with the Six of Clubs here. All right. This ensures that things all come right in the end. Okay, so pretty big opening download for you all. 1133 coming into alignment now. There's help with this. All right, so there's totally opportunity to turn this energy around. It's up to you. Are you going to be open to it? All right. We all get our choices to make. We all have free will. And so we're going to dive in right now with the shuffling. I will have timestamps available for you all, but I have to wait until this airs before I can present those. But if you want to wait for that, you can. You might miss some channel messages because they tend to come in when I'm doing the shuffle, all right? But it doesn't take me too long. We're just going to lay out these 12 houses here, and we're looking at what's coming in for Gemini Collective in February in terms of how they're going to be feeling, where are they going to be at? All right, came out right away, crossing influence there. So you're really at a crossroads. You know, you got some big, important decisions to make this month. One of these decisions, at least, is really going to come into the mainframe for you during this Aquarius season. There's something you need to look at here. There's some action you're considering very strongly before you make a move, all right? It affects you personally on a very deep level. All right, what's going on for finances? Okay, you're really talking to me, all right? You're not holding anything back. Again, another crossing influence, so there might be a connection there, something you're weighing out, something you're balancing out financially. What's going on in the area of communication for Gemini Collective in February? What's going on in the area of communication? All right. Now, that looked good because it's kind of like jumping ahead. I think somebody really wants to like jump ahead in the communication. This is not in a crossing influence though. So this really gives me the impression that communications are going to be moving forward this month. I don't know if they picked it up on the camera there, but the card just flew out of the deck. It really took a leap forward. So I think communication gets things moving this month, and that's a very positive sign. What's going on in the home front? All right. And this communication may have to do both with finances and the home, because of the way that kind of came out, it flew over both of those positions. All right. Also in the upright. So I feel like this is a sign that things are going to move forward financially. I feel that things are going to move forward on the home. Communication's a big part of this, where communications were held up. There's some kind of opening coming that gets things moving forward. All right, what's happening in the area of love and romance and all the good stuff in life, you know, the fun stuff, what's coming up for, all right. That's, again, fell over finances, okay, crossing position. So there's something about romance that's also tying in with the finances. It's interesting. This may be like maybe one person feels like they're always footing the bill when it comes to like going out, doing anything. Maybe you haven't really been going out on dates. Maybe you haven't been able to go out and have fun. This has put a stress and a strain on, you know, the romance department, as you kind of had to stay at home and just chill there because money's been tight. Ted is sure being mouthy. Do you need to go outside? Yeah? Okay, hold on a minute. Yeah, somebody might be feeling cooped up. You know, they might be feeling like they need to get out and have some fun, have a good time. You know, that can be a real drag if finances are tight and you're trying to kind of balance things out and You don't feel like you can really, do the things you enjoy. Anybody can get into a rut like that, okay? So some of these things that may feel like really big, insurmountable problems might actually have really simple solutions. You'd be surprised. Okay, what's coming up in the area of work and career for Gemini Collective in February? All right, there's something that's a challenge there, right? This is a big crossing influence. It's affecting you directly. It flew all the way across and landed right on that first house position, which is all about you, where you're at, what you're feeling, what's on your mind, your experience. So we know your work and your routine is like front and center for you. There's something you're really looking at here. There's something you need to address. All right, let's see what's coming up in committed relationships, committed love relationships, important unions. Oh, shadow aspect here, okay? And that flew right over that communication. So we already know with the channel download that came in, something's getting addressed here. And right as I say this, Ted's wanting to come back in. All right, so, it might be time to let somebody back in. Might be time to actually, talk about what happened, come out of your corners and take off the boxing gloves, and just like sit and have a conversation. Do it on neutral territory. Oh, I'm getting a lot of sentience with this. Okay, what's coming up for Gemini Collective in the area of sexuality and the subconscious and intrigue and all that scorpionic deep dive stuff, the stuff that can sometimes be in the shadow, Oh, okay. And a shadow element did come out there, all right? So we'll see what that's about. What's coming up in that 9th house of travel, expansion, and spirituality for Gemini Collective? What's coming up in the house of travel, expansion, and spirituality for the Gemini Collective? What's coming up in the house of travel, expansion? Okay, another shadow aspect. Now we're running into, it's really interesting because this first row that I'm looking at is like almost all light aspects, and now it's going all in the shadow. I feel like you're really dealing with kind of polarized kind of situations. It's either like you're either all in or you're all out. It's either a yes or it's a firm no. There's no halfway point with you. This month, you're seeing things very much black and white. You're not messing around with no more gray areas. I think maybe you feel like people have been maneuvering in the gray area a little too much for you, and you want things to be very clear and defined at this point. I'm feeling that pretty strongly for you. All right, what's coming up in the area of career, public image? All right, we got a shadow aspect there. It flew out right over the finance house and communications. So there's definitely something going on here. It's having an effect, all right? And it needs to be looked at. We'll figure out what that's all about. What's coming up in that 11th house of friends and community? What's going on in the house of friends and community? What's going on in the house of friends and community? What's going on in the house of friends and community for Gemini Collective? What's going on in the house of friends and community for Gemini Collective? Ooh. Oh my. You got a character on the board and they just got revealed. All right. We got a Queen of Diamonds operating in the shadow, and we'll talk about that when we get there. All right. That's a crossing influence. I feel like something's being exposed. Okay. There's some kind of exposure here. We'll have to look more deeply into that. And what is coming up for Gemini in that 12th house, the house of karma? And it all comes full circle. Okay. Let's see here. 1944 on the clock. I looked at my other clock and it was 12:10. So that's interesting. 12:10. It's like it's down to the midnight hour, right? And it's like we're either going to find fulfillment here or we're closing this thing out, Some pretty strong messages coming in. These cards are very, very direct, very direct. but I'm kind of a direct broad. I like to, cut to the chase. I don't see the point in mincing words, especially when we're dealing with our lives 2020 on the clock. We want to see things clearly. We don't have time for the filler, right? We just want to know what's up. So let's see what's going on with you right off the bat. Okay, it is a light aspect. This is what is really on your mind. The 10 of diamonds. Okay, money. You are focused on money. You are focused on finances. You are focused on security. You are focused on family. You are focused on who you can build with. You are not in a position where you want to waste time with anyone who is not in it to win it. You want somebody who's solid. You want somebody you can count on when it comes to anybody you're going to be building with. No wishy-washy, no 1 foot in, 1 foot out, no gray area. Things need to be very clear and very defined. And this is something that's really important to you in February. I'm also really picking up very strongly that this applies not only in personal life, but also in any kind of business arrangements that you get into. You're very serious about what you're building with your business right now. It's something that's close to your heart. It's something you plan to invest a lot of time and energy into because you want longevity. All right. You're thinking long term. You're also thinking about your later years, and creating a solid foundation for yourself so you can enjoy, your golden years. This is very much security, family togetherness, happiness, making the house really a home, and creating a real viable future. This is what's on your mind. This is everything that's going to kind of be on the table. And there's a lot of stuff that you're reviewing here because it came up as a crossing influence. So whenever I have this come up as a crossing influence, that means there are outside forces and outside people and situations that are having an effect on these areas of life for you. And you do have your ability to make your choices, but you're also dealing with other outside circumstances and other personalities and egos who have their own position too. So it means that these forces can sometimes work for you and sometimes they can work against you. But the good thing is you have this coming up in the light. So I feel like you really have these things starting to turn in your favor. And I also feel like the light is coming on in the room. Like you can finally read the room. You have a better understanding of where things are heading and what needs to be done to sort of secure things and get them back on a good, strong footing. And so I feel like there's a lot of productivity around this. I also feel like you're going to see a lot of growth in your finances. So that looks really good for you. It has everything to do, though, with being very clear with anybody you're partnering with around finances. And certainly 23 on the clock. There's some changes required here. That's double five energy. There are going to be changes here, and there do need to be changes made. And some may feel these changes are pretty drastic, but if you're going to be building together, you have to be in total agreement. There is no wiggle room in this. And I really feel it's like a very strong position you're taking this month. And I think it's important. You got something to preserve here. And with that 10 of diamonds, you're absolutely right. That is true, wealth, solvency. All right. So do take it seriously because it matters. All right. And then in the area of finances, yeah, this is the problem. You're dealing with a joker. Okay. You're dealing with a joker. You're dealing with somebody who isn't taking things as seriously as you are in relation to finances. And I really feel this is where your financial concerns and obligations crosses with other people's. Okay, maybe there's one of you who's got more of a kind of like devil may care kind of attitude, in it for the moment. Maybe they like to do a lot of splashing out with their money. Maybe they like to go out and hit the clubs. Maybe they like to buy themselves all the latest gadgets. Maybe they're a musician. Musicians always need, like a new guitar. They need a new rig. There's always something. It's just the way I grew up with a father as a musician. So it's like I've been around it my whole life. I know how it goes. It's just kind of coming in. This is a person who very much like lives for the moment, right? They live for the moment, and maybe you need to balance things out and be like, hey, we gotta get a little bit more serious with our finances here because the money is dwindling, and I don't want to be in a compromising position. You may also have just recently invested in the house, or undertaking something very major in terms of the house. And so this is more of a concern. And there's somebody that you really need them to, like, they need to grow up a little bit. There's that growing up kind of energy again. I also feel like with this Joker energy, there may be somebody that's like pulling some funny business financially. There might be something funny going on with the money. I suggest you really have a look at the books, have a look at your bank statements, really look at the details. The devil is in the details, and this has a little bit of like kind of a devilish energy to me, all right? So I feel like there's something you need to be aware of what's happening with the finances, because not everything is on the up and up, right? And maybe this person that is, doing something they shouldn't be doing with the finances, maybe they're kind of like charismatic. Um, I can also see this as there's somebody you like to hang out with. There's so much fun. You have a great time every time you go out. But every time you go out with this person, they want you to foot the whole bill. You're always paying for everybody's food and everybody's drinks, and it's like it's starting to really negatively impact you. And you don't want to come off like a cheapskate. You don't want to like ask this person to chip in or pay their own way, but it's kind of like getting a little old. You might need to let this person know, like, hey, maybe we'll meet up after dinner. There's clever ways to work around this, but I feel like there's something that needs to be looked at financially, and somehow there's something that's not being seen. It's a bit of sleight of hand. I feel like somebody is spending money and they're not like being upfront about it, or maybe they're not being honest about how much they're spending. Or this could also be, we had that third party influence come in. So this could also be that maybe somebody has some kind of issue, some kind of addictive issue. Maybe they're a drinker, or they have some other vice, and they're using money. They're using money that's supposed to be for bills and, real life obligations to indulge their addiction. So there's something that needs to be looked at here and balanced out. There's an energy drain, and we don't want any funny business. And I think that's also why you can't just take people at face value. You can't just take what they say, anybody you're really mingling your finances with. This is about making a plan and sticking to it, and getting any other people that are affected in the household by that on board. Anybody you have to exchange money with, you guys need to be in agreement with each other. So like, get it in writing, get it on paper, get it notarized, like do what you have to do. And I think that's a very important piece coming through here. Now, in the area of communication, we already had so much coming in the download. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. So we got the Ace of Spades. It's in reverse, though, and it's coming up in the light. So this is, let's turn this around. We don't want to end this yet, okay? There's unfinished business here. There's something that needs to be communicated that has been held back. I believe it has to do with some kind of falling out, some kind of argument, potentially involving somebody who has a strong fire sign placement. There's something that needs to be handled here. I think this person really wants to move communication forward. They're not feeling so hot about what went down, and they want to speak to it, okay? I think this person doesn't like the separation. This person doesn't like being at odds with you. They want to get back on the same page, and I do see them coming back around, to initiate some kind of communication with you. And I feel like there's not going to be this like bravado or ego like there was in the past. There's this a falling away of that kind of more fiery, sort of stance, and there's more of a softening, like speaking from the heart, okay? Like, I think what I'm really picking up is this person, they felt attacked for some reason. And because they felt attacked, it really brought up in them sort of like very reactive kind of feelings. Like they felt like they had to defend themselves. And being in that defensive space, they almost like they took it out on the wrong person, They took it out on the wrong person. I feel like it's almost like you bore the brunt of it, and it wasn't really fair, you know? It wasn't really fair. It wasn't your fault, you know? But there's something that gets ironed out here, okay? I feel like communication is moving forward. This message also coming in too, if there was somebody that was really sick, if there was somebody that was really ill and they've been struggling, and I don't know, this did come in initially, like maybe there was a family member that was struggling with cancer or something along these lines. Maybe they were going through chemotherapy or some kind of treatment. I see that there's going to be some good news. They're turning a corner with that. They're actually healing. They're getting better, you know. And this is very positive communication coming in. Potentially, this could be connected to this person coming back around. You know, maybe that's what they have to express, that they were really stressed out, you know, very stressed out and just not in a space to deal with everything that was coming up because their loved one was ill, and it was negatively impacted them, caused them to lash out at people. There might have been drinking involved with this too. I'm getting a lot coming in this area. Okay. So I feel like there's something that's being smoothed out here and there's a chance to revive things. And as I said in the beginning, this is all up to you. It's all up to you. Does it feel right? And that's why I'm saying, you know, you've got to be aware of this kind of joker tendency because you do have, you know, a joker hanging out at this crossroads with you. And so that's something to be mindful of, all right? Especially if this is somebody that you have your finances intermingled with in any way. You want to make sure that um, that it's not just all talk. It's like you want to see the action to back it up. This is super important, all right? And looking at the home front, we got the King of Diamonds. All right. So this is a really good sign. I definitely see that if you're in any kind of negotiations around a property, around a home, if you're looking to seal the deal with a property, or there's been something held up in escrow, you know, anything along these lines, I just got maybe some of you have been considering turning one of your properties into an Airbnb. I think you're going to have a lot of success with this. I actually see money coming in that really supports the home. This may even be a home-based business. Somebody may be deciding to do their work at home. Maybe this is something that was a problem in the past. Maybe somebody's very active, you know, with their career. It takes them away from the family a lot. It takes them away from their loved ones. It takes them away from their friends. And so there's like this desire to kind of switch things up. This could be in some cases related to like children coming into the home or somebody having a baby. And so there's kind of a need to have more presence. So this might iron some things out in that case. I also feel like you're going to get really good news if you know, put a bid in on a house, you know, you're looking to get the keys to a house. I definitely see this coming through. There's definitely the money to support it. This looks really good. It's a very good, strong card to get here. Masculine energy, earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, okay, figuring very prominently, any strong placement. This could also be a realtor, you know, somebody who is in the realty business and they help you get a property that you've had your eyes on, or maybe even alert you to some kind of commercial property. You might be looking at this just because the work career area is coming in so strong for you. And if you've had any kind of concerns about, you know, just financially being able to like pay your property taxes or handle any kind of issues along these lines, I see this all working out very well for you. Some of you will be finally having money from an inheritance come through that's been held up. And this is going to be like a game changer. It's actually going to turn a lot of stuff around for you. So financially, things look really secure at the home. And if there was any kind of trouble with any kind of joker, you know, on the home front who maybe, you know, wasn't taking things seriously before, this could be somebody maybe you were romantically involved with and you were waiting for them to really just like level up. Maybe you're wanting marriage, you know, maybe this is something you've been wanting. You've been wanting a more serious commitment. You very well could see things move forward in that area too. The King of Pentacles is ready to make a solid offer and he's ready to stick to it. And I mean, I have to bring that in because we did have this Knight of Hearts energy come in too. So King of Diamonds, Knight of Hearts, that's like the recipe for somebody who's ready to make a commitment, really ready to be in it, to win it, build a home with you. Okay. So there could be a big turnaround here and it could feel really good. It's all coming up in the light. So I feel like it's a very positive thing. Now, in the area of romance and earthly pleasures came in as a crossing influence. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's something going on here. And it's going on online, all right, on social media. We got YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. It's coming up in the light. Maybe something's coming to light about this. Maybe you're finding out about some, DMs. If you're in a relationship, this might be something, that sparked an argument. Maybe somebody's spending too much time online. Maybe you haven't liked what you've seen going down online. You're not comfortable with it, and there's something here that perhaps caused an argument, or maybe something that was kind of splashed around social media that was uncomfortable. Okay. This coming in. Now, if you're single, okay, and you're ready to mingle, I see that this could be a lot of fun. I think that you might actually be picking up communication with somebody. You're in those initial stages of just getting to know somebody. You're kind of in a place where you're just getting out of something, so you're taking it tentatively, and you're kind of enjoying this aspect of first getting to know who somebody is emotionally, like sort of striking up a friendship with them before you take it into the physical. So I do see that there's kind of like something going on here with the, YouTube on here, and here you are on YouTube, tuning in. Maybe you're watching a lot of tarot readings on YouTube too, just trying to get some insight into your love life and what's going on. But I feel like this is a fun time for you online. I feel like where you're not in a relationship and you're having maybe something exposed about what's happening online that you're not too happy about with the person, maybe some flirtation, some, DMs on the down low, things along these lines, or, some kind of messy drama online, flame war type action. It's coming up in the light. So I feel like maybe you do find out something like this. It is coming up. Okay. It's coming up for a reason. So if you're in a relationship, you might find out something about this, but you might kind of be able to kind of look at it more as like a little thing, and maybe there's a reason behind it that you can actually understand. Maybe you went there a little bit yourself too, and so once this is kind of like aired out, exposed, talked about, there's a way to get beyond it. I see that. Okay. But for those of you who are single and you're just doing your thing, I think you're having fun. You're just having fun, flirting online, chatting people up, getting to know people, and you're just taking things nice and light and breezy and easy. That's really what I got. I also feel like a lot of you are just kind of feeling like you're not really feeling like going out a whole lot, but maybe you need to, maybe that's been the problem. Remember that came in, like maybe your person's just been chilling out online too much. It's like, can we get out of the house? Can we like go and do something? Like maybe make an effort. If that's been your pattern for a while, make an effort. Because remember, Ted was like whining. He wanted out. Okay. So maybe one person is more of an extrovert. The other is more of an introvert. All right. Something along these lines. Maybe you're the extrovert in your circle of friends and you're surrounded by a bunch of introverts. It's like, come on, let's go out. Let's have some fun. I think you'll be able to spark something up. Somebody may have just been feeling kind of down, you help them out of their doldrums, plan something, plan some surprise and kind of meet them halfway in what you arrange. And you might find things turn around rather pleasantly there. Okay. And then in the area of work routine, we got shadow aspect here. It came up as a cross influence, communications, again, 8 of clubs. Also, things haven't been really moving forward, like work may have been really slowed down. You may be in some kind of negotiations, in terms of projects you're working on, people you're working with. There might be contractual agreements you need to hammer out. All this stuff we kind of opened up with. I feel like you're waiting for communication to come through. Maybe somebody wanted you to do a job. You're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to take that on. Maybe you even kind of started like financially planning, oh, good. I got this gig now. This is coming through. I got this contract. But like something stalled here. All right. I feel like this is going to be a hassle for you. This could also be waiting to get paid. Like, okay, I fulfilled my end of the bargain. Like, where's my money? Where's my money, man? You got to pay up. You can't just have my services for free. So I feel like there's some delay here in the work arena, and it's around communication. I believe it's holding up finances. Might be contractual agreements involved in that. There's something that needs to be more firmly defined here, and there's something that needs to be addressed. And maybe you haven't gone to, opening up discussion around this because you're feeling heated about it. I think it's time to get this moving forward though, because it's kind of stagnating things. So this is something that's going to be a little bit of a bone of contention for you. I also feel like in area of your routine, you need to get up, you need to get moving, you need to get offline, and you need to get outside, get some more exercise, just, get your blood pumping, get the energy moving so you're not just like sitting and stewing about the stuff that, you don't dig, because that's not a good mental space to be in. And it's going to make the wait even more frustrating, right? So I feel like there's sort of this stagnancy, and your routine is asking to be shifted up a bit to create movement. You create movement in your routine, it's going to create movement in your stuck situations. It's amazing how that works. So pick up some kind of exercise you enjoy, or if you've been just lounging around the house watching Netflix, get up, go outside, go for a walk in the park, or, go and hang out at a bookstore. Just like get out and about in the world, just do something. Get the energy moving. You'll feel a lot better. You won't feel so down. You won't feel so depressed either. Okay. And then in the area of serious committed relationships, we have the 9 of diamonds, and it's in the shadow. Okay. And look at this. Like, you opened up with this. You want the 10. Okay. The 10 is the person that you're building with, it's the ultimate. This is what we want to get to. We want to get to the 10. And you're here at the 9. So I feel like you're in this position with this coming in the shadow. You feel like you're holding it all on your own. You feel like you're the one who always has to be the stable one, the secure one, the one who holds everything down. And it's heavy. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And after a while, you feel like you want a little help. You want a little support. I feel like this is something that is, causing a strain in your relationship. Those of you who are in committed relationships. For those of you that are single and you're not in a relationship, but you want a relationship and you don't understand why it's not coming through, it's because you're really giving off this very strong vibe of, I just want to be alone. Like 9 of diamonds in shadow energy is just sort of very blocked energy. Like, keep away from me. I'm not open. I'm not interested. So if you are interested and you're single and you're wanting to have that special person in your life, let down the drawbridge a little bit. You gotta like let people in, and you gotta get out of the house, okay? Because that 9 of diamonds is also a very solitary kind of energy too. It's sort of doing your own thing, being in your own energy. But in the shadow, we see that this is not a positive influence. This is being done more in a way of either controlling the situation or being too self-protective, okay? And if it's controlling the situation, it's kind of controlling the situation with finances. Like maybe one person is the main breadwinner. This is causing a bone of contention in the relationship. It's an issue, all right? There's something that needs to be worked out here. If you're going to stay together, if you're going to work this thing out, we see so much supportive energy for that. But if you're going to be together, there needs to be that feeling of togetherness. The 9 of diamonds shouldn't be there. The 10 of diamonds should be there, all right? It shouldn't ever be one person doing all the work to maintain the health of a relationship. That's very imbalanced. That's codependent. It's not fair, okay? So there's something I think needs to be looked at in this area in terms of relationships. And we see a lot of communication coming in, a lot opening up around that. So there's so much healing energy on offer. I think there's every possibility you can turn this thing around, okay? And then in the area of sex, death, intrigue, all that, I mean, somebody has been moving out of pocket. This is very clear. It's fire sign energy. Again, we got a queen of clubs. So we know that with that shadow masculine, fire sign energy that came in the initial download. There's a counterpart here. There's a playmate here. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, definitely in the shadow, okay? So this is, I have to tell you, Queen of Clubs in the shadow is a home wrecker. Queen of Clubs in the shadow is a woman who will willfully drive a wedge between a couple. It's not a nice energy. It's very selfish energy. It's an energy that uses its sexuality to get what it wants. And so we see that this is something that's been going on. It's been hidden, but we do have a lot that's coming to light. And there we go back to that area of online activity. This may be something that gets exposed for you this month. This may have been why there was this distancing from this person. You discovered this. Just looking at the skeleton imagery here, this could have been somebody from your person's past, or your person, may have been looking up somebody from their past. And this is something that has been challenging, and there's need for healing and transformation in this situation. I also feel like I'm just going to call it out for somebody who's dealing with an energy like this. You may need to expose them. People do stuff like this because they get away with it. They do. They get away with it, and they never have to be accountable for what they do. And so they just keep doing what they do. And they just think it's fine, because they never have to deal with the fallout of everybody that's impacted by their selfishness. So maybe there would be something about with this communication, you sort of calling it out. That actually might be very empowering for you. I do feel a kind of confrontation energy here. And this is something you're going to be working on. It's something that's going to come to light. And there's some kind of healing work happening around this. But for those of you who are single and you're not in a committed relationship, I think there's somebody that you're tempted to hook up with. That this person is like, they're no good. They take you down a rabbit hole, man. You know it. This person brings out the worst in you. For real. They bring you to this place where you act out of character, and yet you have a strong temptation, a strong draw to this person. You guys might really match fire. Maybe you really connect sexually, and that's what the draw is. There's something that needs to be looked at here, okay? This energy needs to be transformed, because right now it's currently operating in the shadow, and we want to avoid that, all right? Then in the area of travel, okay, we got 4 of spades. It's in the shadow, all right? So I'm feeling this really as a restraining energy, because it's not just travel, it's also expansion, it's also spirituality. I'm almost feeling like a connection between these two. Like, this is something that's weighing up in the balance, and it's sort of like there's somebody's trying really hard to resist this urge. Somebody is really trying to resist this temptation to engage with this Queen of Clubs character, okay? They might be trying to turn this over and turn it over to their spirituality. Maybe they feel like they compromised themselves spiritually connecting with this person. This might be why they want to communicate. They got something they need to get off their chest. I could also see this Queen of Clubs energy being some kind of addiction too. Maybe this person went and got some kind of support for an addiction. Maybe they're looking into some kind of support group, some kind of rehab. And there's definitely some work being done here to try to turn things over, kind of give it a rest, because realizing like, wow, I'm really just making a bigger mess of things the deeper I go into this. And I think this is somebody you're dealing with. I do. I feel like you're dealing with somebody, or you personally could be struggling with one of these issues, maybe provoked by this situation. But I'm kind of feeling like the fire that got lit was lit by this person. This person who is involved with this Queen of Clubs energy. This feels like a character that is not a supportive influence in the mix, okay? And there is another feminine also that's in the mix, okay? And they're up ahead. We'll talk about that, all right? Significant. In the area of your public relations, PR, how people see you, your reputation in the shadow, we got the two of hearts, okay? So again, I'm picking up big internet, online vibes. Somebody's been doing something online, communicating with somebody online. I feel like there's some kind of exposure about this online. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. It's caused a problem. Maybe this has been embarrassing for you. Maybe you feel like it's been very exposing. Maybe you're a very private person. You don't like your stuff splashed all over online. It's very uncomfortable. This might have caused discomfort in your social circle. That's a lot to navigate, and that's not a fair situation to be put in at all, whatever side you're on in that matter. But I do feel like this is something it's like cleanup work. There's like communication that's opening up around this. There's exposure that's opening up around this. But I do feel like somebody's finding out about an affair, a secret relationship. It's in the shadow, okay? So it really gives me that vibe of like two people working together and keeping it hidden, not letting anybody know. But the time on that being a private matter is quickly coming to an end. And the exposure could be not a good thing, especially if it goes down publicly. So I really encourage, if you have any ability to sort of like sway the communication around this, that you do it in a way that respectful space can be held around it, because that doesn't feel like good energy to me. All right. And then right after that, we have the 11th house, which is all about the friends and social circle. And here we have the introduction of the second feminine in the mix that's operating in the shadow, and it's a queen of diamonds, okay? Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, also in the shadow. Also, potentially, it could be somebody from the past, okay? Could be an old love with that energy coming in, the skulls. It's really speaking to me of old relationships. There is somebody who is being problematic in the friendship circle. There's something that's gone down. It may have affected finances. It may have affected stability with that Pentacles energy. It may have blocked things from moving forward. Somebody may have been blocking somebody from moving forward. They may have been trying to interfere in a relationship because they didn't want to see it move forward. Maybe they were envious. Maybe they wanted that person for themselves. There's some kind of energy like this in the mix, but somebody has been moving unethically in the social circle. I think this is somebody that, you're kind of on the outs with a bit. Maybe you've cut off communication with this person. Potentially you've cut this person off completely. You may have blocked them in some cases, okay? But there's some kind of person in your social circle that you can't trust. You feel like they gossip a lot. They've spread a lot of private stuff around the community. It's been very uncomfortable, and you felt like you needed to nip that in the bud, and I believe you did, right? In the area of the 12th house, we have that Jack of Hearts, okay? So we come full circle. We brought this in the beginning, coming up in the light. So I feel like this is cleanup month. It looks like there's some kind of drama here. There's some kind of big mess that has a bunch of people stuck at the crossroads, and has something to do with people moving in the shadow, not being forthright, pulling some funny business. Is very much like Seven of Swords kind of energy. We got both fire and earth strongly aspected in that, okay? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Could also be somebody that has both fire and earth strongly aspected in their chart. That's possible too. There's something that's being exposed around this. There's something that's being cleared up around this. There's communication that's happening around this. It was blocked initially. I think you've been very worried about your security, your stability in relation to this situation, and potentially in relation to a relationship, okay? And I feel like that's getting hammered out. And there is this opportunity, wherever this mess came from, this person is wanting to make things right. All right, with the Jack of Hearts. This is a genuine offer to move forward in a way that is emotionally mature. No more hiding, everything on the table. Let's talk about it. Let's speak from our hearts from a place of creating healing in this situation. Let's get this worked out. So I feel like this is really positive energy. And we're going to go ahead and get one overarching theme card for the month. On the bottom of the deck right here, look, we have the anchor. So see, I feel like things have been a little nuts. Things have felt out of control. They haven't felt very stable. Maybe you've been trying to manage a lot of stuff. You've been trying to keep everything together, keep everybody calmed down. You're like, how did I get put in this position of being the one that has to mediate for everyone? And this one person that caused it, look at you, got them in the chopsticks. You're like, oh yeah, it's all fun and games now, you big joker, isn't it? You know, I hear like Joe Pesci, I got your head in a fucking vice. I'm gonna make you swim with the fishes if you don't take care of this shit. But again, look, we see this message is coming in, all right? There is a message coming in. There's this desire to communicate. So let's get that overarching theme card for Gemini Collective for this month of February. I mean, it's a mess. Let's not lie. It's a mess. It's a mess, but it's a mess that can get ironed out. And there is growth and there is forward motion. It looks like somebody's ready to be accountable. It's okay. Yeah, look, fell on the floor. So maybe they weren't accountable before, but now they're picking up where they left off. Yeah. And this definitely has to do with a love relationship from the past, and it's a third party influence. We got the love card there. Somebody's been a unicorn. Somebody's been just fine to be a side piece. That's what they wanted. They knew that somebody was in a serious relationship and they were perfectly fine playing this role. They're like 56, 56 on the clock. They're like, I want what I want when I want it and I don't care. I mean, I have to be real here. You know, we do see that this has, two people are looking in two different directions, two people that are in a relationship with each other. They're both wanting different things, right? But there's some point here, there's something that brings them together, all right? I see this, all right? I think that you got kind of pulled apart from your person by an outside influence. And this very well could have been somebody from the past with the zombies here, all right? Could have been somebody resurfacing from the past, and it picked open an old wound. It brought up a lot of stuff that needed to be looked at. It was some heavy shadow shit, but I feel like you've gotten through it. I also see, this person from the past may want to come back around and they may want to iron things out. Maybe there's a lot of people that want to talk to this person here. Okay. So I do see that things are going to be resolved here. I'm really drawn to this full moon in the background. So maybe when the next full moon comes in, there'll be some illumination around this. All right. Again, big 3 energy there. Okay. So I do feel like there's definitely been third party interference, but something is getting resolved here. Okay. It needs to be looked at. It's being dredged up so it can be looked at and resolved. And I believe now, instead of looking at what divides you, you're going to be looking at what connects you. Like, where can we connect with the point of love and like start from that place, right? And this may be about making new agreements. It may be about looking at love in a new way. Maybe you want something different than you initially wanted. Maybe it took the two of you kind of like having some time apart, exploring your own interests, questioning what you're really looking for to realize how much you really are happy with each other, So there's a lot of ways that this can turn out. I just feel like this is kind of like your big central theme here. You're really looking at love and past patterns and relationships, and you're trying to get things, stabilized. I feel like the past is really intruded in your situation and it's caused some complication, all right? But it looks like a wish is granted, all right? Something works out here in the most perfect way. And there might be some kind of trip involved with that. Remember, we brought that trip piece in. I say if you get invited to go on some trip or you feel called to go on some trip, follow your heart. You'd be surprised what you can find when you get out and about and away from your usual environment, when you get moving, it brings fresh energy in and it'll give you a different perspective. But, this is one of those cases where it's like sometimes your wish is granted in a way you never would have expected.